let's dive right into it and let's go on a little trip together into the past. This is a story about a boy named Tyler. Let's get started. So when I graduated high school, I graduated with an art scholarship. And this was really cool for me because I didn't draw as most traditional artists did. You know, I didn't draw all the still life, and I didn't draw all the pumpkins and the apples and stuff. Like, that wasn't my thing. I loved comic books, I loved monsters, I loved, messy paints, and I loved super inky, cross-hatching craziness all over it. And most colleges that I showed my portfolio to, they were not into it. They were not into it. I can't tell you how many different colleges told me that, yeah, your stuff's good, but it's not really what we're looking for. We want more like still life, and we want you to show that you can charcoal draw an apple and show reflected light, because we really like to see that reflected light. It's great. Well, I'll tell you what, that stuff is boring as shit to me. I don't care. I feel like it's really cool if you can do that. If that's your niche, like, go for it. But for me, like, no, I'm not into it. I want to draw what makes me happy and what I want to draw. So it was really cool to find a college that was stoked on what I did and what I had to offer. So on that same note, if you've ever done an art class, if you've done art throughout middle school or high school, you'll know that no matter what level you're in or what class you're in, you're going to be shading apples. You're gonna be doing a pastel drawing of pumpkins. Like, it's in every class, no matter how advanced or not advanced. After a while, you're like, I'm over this. I'm so done drawing pumpkins. Like, I had a few art teachers that were really awesome that gave me cool and challenging projects where I got to just go wild and do whatever I wanted. And those are what I lived for. Or when the teacher would ask the class what they wanted to draw, and they would teach you what you wanted to learn. It wasn't just this like curriculum of doing the same thing every year. So it was really cool to be able to go to college on an art scholarship. And I was pretty pumped on this. And with having the art scholarship, I was able to test into the more advanced classes, the more advanced art classes, instead of doing all the fundamentals over again and then getting into the advanced classes. And I was pretty stoked on this until I got into the advanced classes, and guess what? They had me drawing freaking pumpkins again. They had me drawing pumpkins and apples, and I'd done this a billion times. What's the point of testing into these advanced classes if I'm just gonna draw the same stuff that I've been drawing my whole life? I'm in college, like, teach me the cool stuff. I want to learn to draw what I want to learn to draw that's gonna make me better and make me thrive. And it just wasn't doing it for me. My favorite class was figure drawing, having the models come in and drawing them. That was a lot of fun. But being in Utah, you kind of lose the perks of it. And the teacher in college asked the class if they wanted the models nude or clothed. And it's a figure drawing class, right? You want nude models. You want to draw the human body, the human figure, and you want to draw all these different body types. It's the coolest class. And the whole class voted for clothed. Clothing, like, come on, like, we're adults. You're finally allowed to draw what you want to draw, and you're finally allowed to draw real people, nude models. And I'm in college, and my whole class, I say my whole class, the majority of the class votes for clothing. Boo, thumbs down. That sucked, right? But the class was still really cool. It taught me a lot. But in college, I really didn't have a great time the first time. I got super depressed. The classes weren't teaching me what I wanted to learn, and I just stopped going. And I was really still excited on art, and I felt I had potential. I believed in myself, and so I left college, and I was like, I want to do this. I want to pursue this. And I met with a successful artist. He's amazing, and I talked with him about, you know, the art I wanted to do, and how I wanted to pursue art as a career. And I don't know if he meant it or not. I hope he didn't. But he shot me down. He told me that my art was missing this, this, and this. I needed to get better at this. People can't make it in the art world with my style, my type of art. I need to get a job at Disney, or I need to work for comic book companies or something. And that all just like shot me down, because as much as I love drawing, you know, pop culture or fan art, like I love drawing my stuff. And that stuff is the stuff that I'm really passionate about and that makes me really happy. And the fact that he basically said that there's no way for a person like me with my art style to have a career doing what I want to do, and that my art was missing all these fundamentals, and even if I like got a little bit of, you know, success with it, I wouldn't be able to have enough income to survive, or I'd have to be a college professor or something and go that route and just teach kids how to draw instead of, you know, just doing my own thing. And I think he was just trying to be helpful and give me tips on the industry and what he knew, but it really shut me down as a person that was really excited and really just looking for advice on like what to do or which route to go. And from that point on, I just kind of gave it up, right? That dream was dead, killed. And it sucked. It sucked, especially leaving college, because it wasn't teaching me what I wanted to learn, and being really depressed leaving college, and then getting shut down on what I loved. It really sucked. And after that, I went to a different college just to do generals, just because now I don't know what I want to do, you know, because being a Disney animator is really cool, but it's not for me, you know. And yeah, it was a super bummer. So I went to college for generals, and guess what? I hated it. I hated every second of it. And so I stopped going to that college too, and I went to another college because I wanted to find something that I loved. And so I bounced to another college, and then I realized the college again wasn't teaching me what I wanted to learn. And at that point, I really wanted to learn about nutrition and working out in the human body, and just everything involving working out in the human body and sculpting and changing your physique and doing all that stuff. And it turns out I was learning more outside of the class than I was in the class. And so I was like, I'm not gonna waste my money doing this. Like, I'm not bad at school. My GPA was like a 3.9 or a 3.8 out of 4 or something, whatever GPAs are. I don't even know, it might be different now. But I was so over just spending money on what I didn't, I was teaching myself what I wanted to learn. Why am I gonna take classes from this person who does this on the side and isn't really telling me anything I want to know? When I ask them a question, they're like, I don't know. Like, come on, what's the point? So I left that college. I paid off those student loans. This whole time I'm working part-time, saving money. And I'm really you're living your early 20s and you're figuring it out. And so me and my buddy, we hated our jobs, and we quit our jobs and we packed up and we moved to Hawaii, and we lived in a tent on the beach for a few months. And we just did that thing out there, and it was so fun. But then we came back, and for fun, we all decided, let's go to college again, but let's all go down as friends and just get an apartment together and have a good time. So we all went to college again, and there was some weird fluke with the system that dropped all my classes and I couldn't get them back. And this is after midterms. So I lost all my progress I'd been doing, and they just refunded all my money, and they're like, all right, well, we'll see you next semester. And so now I'm down at college with all my friends. They're all in class, and now I don't have anything to do, which was amazing because I got to just work on art all the time. I worked on art, I made music on the computer. I basically just got to be creative 24/7, and it was the best because I'm down at college, I'm not working, and I'm not in school. And I think it's the universe kind of being like, the right place at the right time. And so I would just sit around and draw. But what I would notice is college kids would come over to our apartment just to hang out with me while I worked on art. I'm not in class. I'm just drawing weird stuff. I'm drawing this weird monster guy and his head's connected to this giant dinosaur thing with a giant guy sitting in it with a starfish head, and it's like all weird. And there's people that want to come over and they just sit on the table around me and they just want to sit and watch me draw, and we just sit and chit chat and have a good time. And it kind of connected with me that if all these kids are willing to, they're college, we're all in college. And rather than go out and party and do all the college stuff, they want to come over to our apartment and just hang out with me while I draw. And I thought, if college kids are down to just come over and hang out with me because they like what I'm drawing, there's clearly a market. Like, there are clearly people that are gonna dig what I'm digging, like what I'm drawing, what I love. And so that made me I remember calling my mom and being like, I don't want to do college anymore. I think I'm gonna go for art. I'm gonna go for it. And she was all for it, 100%. She was basically like, about time, let's do this kind of a thing, which is really cool, really supportive. My mom's awesome. If you guys have ever seen any of my live videos or anything, I'm sure you've seen her. She's awesome. And my whole family's been really supportive all along the way, which is really cool. And I know I'm going on forever. This is the longest story ever. So I'm gonna try and shorten the video just a smidge, but basically I said, I'm gonna do this. I'm doing art. And so I still had a part-time job. I still, I was still doing an income because I didn't know what would work with art and what wouldn't work with art. But what was really cool is, as the ball started rolling, I started doing more art. I started selling art. People started supporting my art, wearing my art. I was starting to ship it all over the world. I remember sending a shirt to Africa and being like, I don't even know how to write this address. And I got one to China, I think, and I didn't know how to write the address. And I remember thinking, this is so cool. This is so cool. People everywhere are digging this stuff. Like, if I hadn't just started it when I ended high school, if I would have just gone with it, like, where would I be? Instead of this, like, go to college and then a guy tells me that my artwork isn't gonna work and it like shuts me down, and I let him like get to me, and I truck along and I basically give up. If I would have just kept going, like, where would I be? And what was really cool is I went to pick up my print order for a bunch of orders that I had. And guess who my cashier, guess who was working the cash register when I showed up? That freaking guy who told me my art was not gonna work. The one that kind of shut me down. He is probably telling me, I don't think he meant it. I wanna say that I don't think he meant it in any negative way. I think he was just trying to be helpful and tell me about the industry. But it really shut me down. So it was really cool to go in and buy prints, and he had to ring me up. Whew, that was sweet. It was kind of like it was one of those wins that you kind of, thanks universe, you got me. And I'm gonna wrap it up here, but I just want to tell you, don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't do something. I'm not only referring to art, anything that you love to do, anything you're passionate about. Do not let anyone tell you you can't do it, because you can do it. Believe in yourself, because there are people all over the world, that more than likely will dig what you're putting out. So that's what I want to leave you with. Don't ever give up. Don't let anybody get in your head. You've got this. Push forward and keep pursuing your dreams. You've got it. And one last thing, my selfish plug is if you like my art, if you like these videos, check me out on tylerlamph.com, tylerlamph.com. You can get my prints, clothing, comic books, everything I've been working at since I quit college and I said, I'm doing this, I'm going for it. You can get it at tylerlamph.com. So support me, pursue your dreams, and I'll see you next time.